and then the run after the sled push.
Yeah.
Where was that Ed Sheeran song? You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, never mind. So anyways, it's when your legs don't work like they used to.
Yes.
So after 50 meters of sled push, you try to run, and for me, I'm like, I can't run. My legs are just locked right now. It's just jello legs. It's like a baby deer being born.
Welcome to the Movement Hub podcast. I am your host, Manny.
And I'm your host, Josh.
And we are here today talking about anything fitness, current events, lifestyle, with our unhinged and unsolicited advice that you should probably know about.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah.
I feel like we got the hang of it.
Yeah, let's
All
go.
Right. It only took us about 56 episodes.
So whoever's watching this episode right now, go watch the other 55.
Yeah. There's 30 that we had to delete, but it's fine. No problem.
And we are in the month of June, but probably since we store these videos, you're probably going to be watching this later down the line. But
it's summer.
August.
Yep, it's
maybe
summer.
August, September.
Who's to say?
Something like that.
But it's hot. Summer just started. And
speaking of hot, there was a hot event that just happened this past weekend.
Hence why our guys are very tan right now.
Right.
Normally, I'm that color, and Josh is like...
That's not true.
This color.
No one is as clear as I am. All right?
I think they can see your eyebrows on this episode.
I hope so. Yeah.
Finally. They exist.
But we were in the great city of New York City this past weekend.
Pier 76.
Pier 76, Midtown West.
Right next to the greatest river on planet Earth.
Yes.
The Hudson River.
The Hudson River. I believe it's Hudson River 1, the Nile number 2. You know?
There you go. But Hudson definitely first.
Yeah. Definitely. Top 2, and it's not 2. So, Manny, we had a Hyrox event. This would have been my third experience. Second time coaching. This was the first time that you've done it. You've been around.
Yep.
What time was your flight? What time did you go up?
I started at 10:20 a.m. and I finished approximately closer to noon.
So you
just
had
before noon.
So for anyone listening, Manny's division, men's open, 10:20 start, and you finished at an hour and 26 minutes. Hour and 26 for your first one.
Yep.
Add the golf cheers, everybody. Can we do that? Applause, please.
Yep.
So if you're wondering why my voice sounds weird today, I was screaming for everyone, rooting for everyone.
We had
Saturday.
She was the hype woman.
We had about 40 people from IPA did well. It was a very harsh course. For those that normally do Hyrox, normally it is an indoor event.
Yes, it is.
For New York City, this was well known ahead of time that it was going to be outdoors, rain or shine, whatever elements it was going to be on June 1st.
It's technically still spring. It's not like summer solstice yet, but we did have a summer light day. It was in the 83 degrees.
86.
It was
dry. I mean, we're by the river, but it didn't provide any support. And
at all.
Yours was at 10 to noon. So you're at the hottest point of the day. What was that for you?
It was tough, honestly. I think that this event was a lot of energy, ton of people. I was very surprised of how organized it was. But the event itself is like no other. When I tell my clients about what I did over the weekend, I kind of explain it as a CrossFit game, or for people who don't know what CrossFit games are, I consider it as some kind of HIIT class that is just way too long, or a CrossFit Games event minus the barbells. So that's the way that I explain it to people who don't know what Hyrox is.
Too long. I'll give you the Spark Notes version. 8 workout stations, 8-kilometer run. There's a 1 kilometer in between the 8 stations, and in order, it is a ski erg, a sled push, a sled pull, burpee broad jumps, rower, farmer carry, sandbag lunge, and then we finish out with 100 wall balls.
Damn.
75 for women.
75
for women for some reason. I hate these standards. I hate how uneven it is. You know, it really should be 100 all across the board. But that's neither here nor there, and that's not what we're here to talk about. And you end with the wall balls too. I feel like a lot of for this event, the harder stations for majority of people would be the burpee broad jump, would be the wall ball, or the sled push. I would assume that most of the people will find those to be the most challenging. And those is where I saw at the race, there was a lot of deadlock. And this one in the great city of New York, it was the most I've ever seen in any of the Hyrox races.
The biggest.
In any of the videos I've seen on YouTube. This was packed. You're talking about from 8 a.m. up until 9 in the evening.
And every 10 minutes, they were starting a new heat.
A new wave.
Different divisions too.
Different divisions. And a lot of people that came out of town, out of country to come and participate in this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
So it was an interesting event. A lot of good, some bad. You know, it didn't go smooth for some people. I'm glad it went smooth for you. But later on in the day, there's some resources were limited. You know, we were running out of water, which is essential for life.
Yeah, especially in the heat. Rough for a lot of people.
We ran out of chalk, which is essential for me. You know,
yeah, those carries weren't going to be possible at all.
A lot of slippery farmer carries.
Yes.
What do you think was the hardest station for the majority of people racing the Hyrox?
It's for majority of people. I will go on a limb and say that it's going to be burpee broad jump. It's not for me. I don't think it's my hardest station. I think it's like my 3rd or 4th hardest station. But for a lot of people, it would be their number 1.
Why is that?
It's a very challenging. Everyone hates burpees to begin with. And, you know, my gym doesn't do burpees, but we had to prepare for this race. But it's just going up and down, changing levels is just going to tax you. I don't care how in shape you are. You could be Lance Armstrong, who was there, or you could just be Susie Homemaker, and you could do burpee broad jumps. It attacks people. You know,
after all the running too.
There is a certain type of body type that does well. Usually lighter people, longer
Well, I would assume like high 5 foot, closer to 6.
Yeah,
probably anywhere from like 180 to 200 pounds. I think is the sweet spot.
Compact, athletic. Like they do pretty well with that. Anyone who's done any martial arts, that's done some tumbling, they do really well in that.
Can we shout out one of our guys, Mike, had the 2nd fastest time on burpee broad jumps.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes, he did men's relay.
I recorded the whole thing. It was like under 2 minutes.
Going fast.
Wow.
He was going fast.
I think I took maybe 10 minutes doing that burpee broad.
A lot of people just stood there, there was a log jam of traffic. But you know, that's what it is. But for me, my number 1 would be the sled push. I think the sled push is brutal. It attacks you. And then the run after the sled push, where was that Ed Sheeran song? You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, never mind. So anyways, it's when your legs don't work like they used to.
Yes.
So after 50 meters of sled push, you try to run, and for me, I'm like, I can't run. My legs are just locked right now. It's just jello legs. It's like a baby deer being born.
Just all wobbly. Or like after a hard set of squats, pushing into failure.
Good Lord Almighty.
Then you're trying to go on stairs.
What was your time when you first did it in Barcelona?
Who's to say?
So is that one of those times where it's just too much, you don't even want to share anymore?
He was sub 1 hour. No, not 1 hour, 2 hours.
2 hours. I was like, whoa, this guy's
I had a world record pace. No, it was
No, it's not 2 hours.
It was somewhere between 1 hour and 2 hours.
Perfect.
So
my time was around.
It was
that
around
area.
the same. So yeah,
just like everybody else.
yeah, just like everybody else. But no, there were some, the elite of the elite, under an hour, very impressive.
Yeah,
those,
very.
there are those that like had over 2 hours, and I will say, and anyone who signs up takes a lot of courage, but I will
A lot of training.
Hopefully. And there is some training, but I will say there is some disappointment from what I witnessed is that some people just started to walk through it, and it's
We're not shaming them.
it is what it is. It's whatever.
You're
But
moving.
I have this inclination that there are some people who just did their normal training and just showed up the day of the race and did nothing specifically for this race. And I just, whatever, you know, I just
That's
have
me.
I just have some feelings about. Well, to be fair, Manny has a running background, and he just did a half marathon before this.
A week before.
Anyone who has a running base will have the advantage.
You
So,
have half the events.
yeah,
Right.
That's the majority of the events, and you are a step over everybody else. It's easy to make a runner strong. It's hard to make a strong person run.
Right.
So
I did see a lot of really jacked dudes who look like have a real strong base in bodybuilding or powerlifting, and I did see them struggling a little bit. And yeah, I think you have to have some kind of base when it comes to cardiovascular strength and endurance. When it comes to this event in particular, because it gives you that much of an edge. But if you literally have not ran before, have not touched a rower before or a skier, you will be humbled very early.
it's going to be a long day for you. They call it in training, it's a compromise running. What that means is you do your run after one of the events, meaning you're already taxed from the event. Like, let's say it is a sled push, and you are supposed to train after that. And we did a lot of bouts with that. We did a lot of sets during at IPA, a lot of compromise running. And we also do compromise workouts where you do the workouts after a run.
Right.
So you got to have a good mix of both. So I think. Yeah.
So since we give our unsolicited advice and opinions and critiques about everything fitness here, what do you think are a couple things that people could do differently next time when they prepare for the Hyrox?
Jesus Christ. One, read the rules. There's so many rule breaking at the Hyrox.
boy.
Number one, I believe, was how many laps you actually had to run before coming back in.
Know where you're going to be. Understand the course, ask questions, be inquisitive, like study. A lot of people just showed up and were so confused.
I will say slightly in their defense. We had a couple of our competitors tell us that when they did the rules at the event, and maybe this is some feedback towards the Hyrox organization, catching a stray right now, that the person that was going through rules played a video. It was barely audible, and they could not hear it. And, you know, just to cover it right before the race, I understand that some people definitely at that point you have to do your due diligence and read the rules at your own leisure. But at the day of the event, that's kind of bad that if some people needed some reminders, especially like when they see the course, that, you know, it's barely audible and you can't really see what the video, because they played a video for these people.
I will say, like, hey, read the rules, watch the video, just prepare, know the course ahead of time, and they give you some materials before then to really study it. I think there's a little preparation that goes in, and you just can't go blindly. I will say that you do need some time. I would say you need at least, at the very minimum, 8 weeks of preparation to do this.
From coming from just regularly working out.
You need to be active, first of all. You can't just, you know.
So if you were
walk in and do the event.
What if you are not that active? What is the time frame you would
good
say?
Lord.
Good luck trying, I think. I believe so. I don't think it's a smart idea.
Yeah.
It's almost like comparable to saying run a marathon without really regularly running. I think with like a half marathon, you still can get by without any kind of training, but be really crushed at the end, also probably have a horrible time. But I think Hyrox is one of those events where you need some kind of base.
Yeah.
Because if you have no base at all, good luck getting past the second station.
Yeah.
Good luck even pushing that sled.
I will feel
that is very
like
true.
you need 6 weeks of at least 6 weeks to survive, just to survive. 6 weeks prior to survive and do what is needed for it. But 10 or more, 10 to 16 weeks to really excel.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. You need 10 to 16 weeks to excel at this, to really get the most of what your body is physically capable of. I'm guarantee you that there's going to be a lot of people that just finished their event and probably thought to themselves, I could have done so much more.
Absolutely.
I have in the chat that we have on my WhatsApp chat with everyone that did it, they're like, this is so fun. I think like I gave them a little whiff and now everybody's hooked. And everybody wants to do it again. Do you want to do it again, Manny?
I would do it again. I think I'm very harsh on sticking to a very specific style of training, which I don't like to do too much cardio where it can neglect my strength gains. But I think over the past year of implementing running, I think I've learned on how to not fully undermine what cardio and conditioning training can do for your body, even though you are on a bodybuilding or a strength program. So I think managing the mileage that you do on top of that kind of training can be very beneficial. But to answer your question is, yes, I would do it again. It was a lot of fun, but I would love to do it with somebody, like a partner, race with a friend.
Oh.
Like somebody
hey.
who was supposed to do it, but
Someone that wants to do another Hyrox.
gave
Who
away their
in
ticket.
the room? Who
I'll find
in the
somebody
room?
for you.
Wow.
No.
If you want to do doubles, if you want to do doubles, we could do doubles.
You should do doubles.
We could do doubles.
We could do doubles and then see. I gotta up my running. That's what I gotta do.
Yeah.
I will say,
but to end off answering your question, I think it's a very fun event. I would definitely do it again. And as I tell everybody, this is the middle ground from doing HIIT classes versus doing a compared to getting obliterated at trying to do a CrossFit Games workout. And I think Hyrox is smack dab right in the middle, depending on how hard you want to push.
I do feel it is sustainable. I feel like the injury rate is very minimal. I think it's
in comparison to.
In comparison to, and I think like the movements are very safe. I think it's a very safe sport. I think you in organized team sports, there's a slightly higher chance of injury. At like Zog sports, the people that play pickleball, everyone's getting injured left and right and going to see a physical therapist right after. Get out of here.
Oh boy. Pickleball caught a stray.
Caught another stray. But hey, you know what? We got 24 weeks away to Chicago. So training starts right now. We're going to get to it and we're going to crush it.
Okay.
All right.
I think what I really wanted to do with this event is test what it would be like not training specifically for the Hyrox, but having some kind of running background. And then next, being more specific about training for the Hyrox and seeing what time I could get. As you said earlier about your athletes at your gym, I knew for a fact I could have gave more. But when you're actually doing the Hyrox and pushing it to your limit, I think the idea of giving more and actually giving more is two different things.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing Hyrox.
You're just trying to survive at that point.
Exactly.
All right. So on to the topic at hand. So everybody that's jumped in through our timestamp, we're going to the main topic of today. All right. And this is speaking of strays, I think a lot of people are going to catch some strays.
Oh, everyone's getting the smoke today.
But we are here and it is discussed. And we are here to talk about the red flags in the fitness industry. The things you see from trainers, coaches,
gym owners, gym organizations.
There you go.
Yeah.
Correct.
Franchises.
And we are just going to give, from our anecdotal experience, what we have seen, without naming any names.
Not at all.
But yeah, everyone knows who they are, and they're obviously listening because they're subscribed. If you,
I hope they listen so they can do better.
yes, we just want you to do better. So, would anyone want to start on anything that you see in the gym that's like, oof, gives you the ick, as the kids say, or like that
doesn't slide.
We can't defend this. So
I think number one for me is the gym etiquette of putting your weights back. That is a red flag that I believe some gym corporations don't really excel at enforcing. And I think that one, it's very dangerous for people around, because if it's not in the right place, more than likely things are just going to fall, maybe stub a toe, land on a finger, or just generally using it the improper way. So that is number one for me, because when I do work out in those gyms, it is a big red flag that one can be either the issue of the gym or the gym goers.
Yes.
you know what's a good workout? And I used to do this when I was a personal trainer, is that I would do a round going into the gym and putting weights back and do my rounds like 3 to 4 times a day. You get a solid workout from that. You pick things up. It's a deadlift.
And put it down.
You put it down. You press some things away. You're doing loaded carries. Mm-hmm. I think it's a fantastic thing to do. But yeah, no, like people should, like your mom's not here. She's not going to clean up after you. Like, please use the weights, put them back where you got it. Leave it better than how you found it. You know, the guy that's hoarding like 8 sets of dumbbells so he could do his supersets.
Oh my god!
Oh, collective.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's one.
Collective
There's always
ick.
one dude. Always one dude.
You know what's crazy
Like,
is
or
that
machines too. They be like, "Oh, I'm gonna work out there." They'll be on a bench and then hoarding a cable machine. Like, what are you doing?
I do that sometimes at the gym, but I always let people know you work in.
Yeah.
And if somebody just starts working out there, I'm not going to kick them off.
Yeah.
Because it's one, you have to claim one out of the 2, and you have to be willing to give up the other one, or say that you want to work in with them.
Yes.
Because you've already claimed another bench.
Okay.
So as long as you have, it's like the water bottle or the small towel rule in the gym. If you have it next to a bench or on a bench, you kind of claim that territory.
Yeah.
But I always come up to them and ask them if I can use it and working with them, unless there's another available bench around.
Yeah.
Seems like you have some strong opinions on that, Josh.
no, it's look. We have a gym here, and we don't encounter this. We moved up. We used to be part of coach, and now we're in first class.
Yep.
All right, we don't have to deal with any of these issues anymore.
Right.
Smelly, stinky, teenage kids in pajamas, in Crocs, like broccoli hair.
Oh.
Just, you know what I mean? No
Don't
zest
worry.
in life.
They're coming for you. They're coming for you.
With what?
They got money. Their uncles and moms and dads got money.
That's
They
true.
paying that monthly membership.
They're a
mooch
Bling
rich.
membership. They don't have that much money. All right. So
All right.
my next red flag was cancellation policies in the gym.
Ooh.
And we could glaze over this very quick. It's just basically just bad financial practices. And I'm saying this from a perspective of one, I was a person who was a gym member and now I'm a gym owner, is that when someone tells me they want to cancel, all right, that's fine. Just give me 48 hours. We'll cancel right away. But some gyms will lock you down. Nope. It says in the contract, you have 60 days. Once you give us notice, you charge 2 more months. Like, what is that?
45 days for some.
Yeah, 45 days, whatever. Like, I know Retro Fitness asked me to like give them a signed, can you give us a signed letter, a letter that you're going to be leaving? And like, do you have a piece of paper? I took that paper and I just came up with whatever. I was like, so I am leaving because I am poor. Signed, Josh Tevis. This is good. And the front desk like, yeah, no, I think this is good.
It's good.
Yeah. So, and then that's how I left. I was like, some of these are some of these rules are so archaic, and it's even worse if it's corporate because, hey, look, man, I just got to do what my boss tells me to do, and that boss has to answer to another boss.
Right.
And they really lock it down. It's very shady. I don't like these business practices. It's just, it's hard to get out of these types of contracts. And that's my thing. That's all I got to say about it. I don't like that I had to do it, so I won't do it for my gym, So we haven't had any review that told us like, hey, you lied to us. You charged us extra months. I was like, what was the case? I'll look back at it. I'll help you out.
Right. I think there should be some leeway with, different. It's all situational, right? There's some people who, one, just truly are moving away. Yeah. They cannot hold on to their membership anymore, or simply they just don't want to be a part of your gym anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that, yes, locking them in to pay for the next month, or what could be also sketchy is that they say they cancel your membership, not knowing that you're actually getting charged for the past 6 months more that you haven't even been there.
Well, that's the Planet Fitness model.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to charge you $10. You're never going to cancel it because it's only it's $10.
Well, that's fair though, because they're not even requesting to cancel.
That's true.
Right.
So that's fair.
There were other gyms that we looked at. There was one specifically in the Philadelphia area.
Oh, yes.
We went to work out there because a gym fitter approached us saying that they could help us design IPA and like organize a gym to make it more usable for, user friendly for clients. That was a scam, by the way. That was another one.
This whole gym is a scam. Any gym that has a lot of influencers is definitely not a good gym. Don't go to it. You see influencers and their tripods and they start to record and they wear these whore leggings.
Oh, God.
That's a red flag. That's a bonus red flag for you
Leah,
guys.
You're going to have to edit that again.
No. Get these tripods out of here. You don't need to record every single.
But the reason why it was a scam is because one, there were a lot of Google reviews, and we remember it for that time because we checked it out. Like, what is this gym about? That said that they discontinued their membership for a good year and a half, or like half a year, and they were still getting charged. And no one was picking up the phone. If people answered, they were getting someone snarky at the end.
Google reviews were being deleted.
Google reviews were flooded
with fake 5-star reviews.
Fake 5-star reviews by all these influencers that they allowed in.
Wow. Yeah, Google is going to the way of Yelp, where it's just being flooded with fake reviews. I think like I don't believe a 4.9, but yeah, no, it's going in the way of like things are getting flooded. 4.9 reviews, like, it's hard for me to believe. I like if they're 4.4, 4.6.
Somebody
because they've got like 4 and they got a couple 4 and 3 stars, but they're mostly positive. That I believe. Anyone that's got no 3, anything below 5 stars, if they have none, that's a red flag for me. I think it's fake. I think these gyms are fake. They're paying. They're asking nicely. Like,
we'll give you a free month if you put a 5-star review.
Yeah.
I don't pat myself in the back. I don't ask directly to do a 5-star review.
But you can advertise it.
I don't.
Like, hey,
I want
guys.
this thing to be organic. You know what I mean? I want it to be a real thing. But that's a 5-star review. Like, get out of here. If you have like 200 reviews and you got a 4.9, I don't believe you.
So since we're rocking with our complaints on the red flags about gym facilities or gym owners or big corporate gyms, what do you think is a red flag on your list?
Okay. Oh, I'll name you 2 right now. I wish I remembered this person's name because I would name them. So my first time going into a gym, we're naming names, my first time going to a gym, I was working out at home. I did one of these like fitness videos. It was, I did 10-minute workout and I swore by it for 2 years, and I will give them credit. I was starting out. It was 10 minutes, and then you had like different ones where they had different focuses. So as I progressed in 2 years, I started doing 20 minutes and 30 minutes, and I lost 80 pounds all by myself, no equipment, just me. Maybe, the video set came with like a resistance band and a yoga mat. But my first time wanting to get into some sort of something different because I was getting bored and I wanted to check out an equipment gym. I walked into a Blink in Brooklyn, and when you start out with most gyms, you get a free trial, personal training consultation. I did. This trainer, male trainer, asked me my fitness background, and I explained to him, like, I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And one of the things my doctor told me was to lose weight, which is counterproductive, because if you have it's an autoimmune disease. If you have it, it's very hard to lose the weight. But the only thing that could help you management is to lose weight. So you're actively fighting a lot of things, but I did it. And now I told him, like, yeah, I lost this amount of weight, and with no guidance whatsoever. And he said, could you put your arm out? So I did. I put my arm out as if I was flexing my arm. He grabbed my arm without he asked me to flex, like He grabbed Josh grabbed his bicep from the width. He did that. That's what he did. And he said, unfortunately for you, because you lost significant amount of weight, you have a bit of excess skin. You're never going to get muscle definition.
Wow.
Verbatim. That's what he said. So I want you to manage your expectations.
The biggest red flag is definitely body shaming. Mm-hmm. And it should go without saying, because it is a gym. It is the fitness industry. Mm-hmm. Look, 90% of the people that are going to walk in there are going to feel insecure.
Absolutely.
And the last thing we need to do is body shame them. And that's really the wrong approach. And that is what's said, but it is actually, I would say it's more in the majority. I think a majority of gyms, they encounter this shaming in whatever it is. And personal trainers use that as they think it's a sales tactic. It's a sales tool. They tell you your body fat. I stopped doing this when I was in corporate fitness. When I was in corporate fitness, they ever did that trifold? Mm-hmm. They got grab here, grab that, grab your fat. Hey, what's your name? Nice to meet you. Come into this room and then please take your shirt off. And then all of a sudden I just grab their fat and then just grab this thing. I was like, oh, it turns out I put my numbers here into this website that you got 30% body fat. Did you know that that's overweight and obese? We should start you on a 20-pack personal training thing. And it's just like it's so backward. It's the wrong approach. Mm-hmm. That's my issue with corporate fitness, is that they know what your insecurities are, and they'll weaponize it in order to sell training packages. Right. And it's the saddest thing. I stopped the body calipers, body fat percentage. Like, people know why they're in there. They're here they don't need to be shamed. They don't need to feel worse the first day you meet them. You want to start off like it is a first date. You want to get off like it's
encouraging.
You want to be positive. You want to be encouraging. Hey, I'm glad you made it. Thanks for coming in. What are your goals? What do you want to do? All right, let's do it. This is the best way to do it. We'll hit it with that. If it's fat loss, weight loss, you want to build some muscle, you just want to feel confident. You know, you got a wedding to come up to that's coming up in a couple months. You know, whatever the case may be, we'll get you in that goal. And people should use words of affirmation, positive outlooks to just get people in love, to fall in love with fitness, just as you have. The trainer, the coach, anyone who's involved in the industry, they like this because they want to be in this. It makes them feel good. They get the endorphins after. And that's what we want to bring people into that environment. So
Okay.
Sorry you had to. Sorry you had to encounter that, but I think it happens way too often.
Yeah,
You
that
know.
was one. Oh, and another one. As a woman, I will say this. Predatory behavior. It's, I think we talked about it at the end of the last episode. I had my own experience, where a trainer I did. So like luckily for me that I decided to keep going into, like a equipment based gym. I moved myself up to I guess one that like was offered by the company I work for. And I did a free trial at that gym. And, this trainer was on his way out because he went from doing personal training into working for the company at large, doing accounting, I believe. And it was his last week of work. He trained me, and then I saw him after that free training session, saw him 2 days later. And because I'm not his client, he asked me out. So,
I don't know if that's very much so predatory vibes.
No, right,
Because
but
I think it is a
More
free market.
opportunistic. I
right.
will say.
But I will
yes.
say it happened while he was still on the job. So he wasn't training me.
It is inappropriate. I will say it is inappropriate.
Right. But he wasn't my trainer, but he was still working at that location as a trainer and asked me out,
I'll tell you this.
which is a little bit on the line.
This goes into like my next red flag. And this I've seen this in every gym I go to. But a trainer will use new leads and gym members as a dating app, as a speed dating event. Like it's swipe next. Oh, hey, you be buddies with the membership director. And it's like, oh, I got this nice lead for you. Oh, look how she looks. What do you think? Yeah. No, I'll take that one. And then a lot of trainers, coaches will try to train them. No, first one's free. Some people might give them 2 free ones or whatever. And then
The third one is
yeah,
a special package.
but my and that does happen too often. And it happens in gyms. It happens in boutique fitness as well, when there's a lot of people who do group classes. And it's just like, look, people they're building trauma together because they're going through a tough workout. There's a lot of like in shape, good looking people,
yes.
attractive, and there's just people you vibe with. So some of these things do come natural, but my red flag would be inappropriate relations. Either it's coach, trainer, client, which is honestly the unwritten rule that apparently every trainer seems to break. But that is one of the things, guys. Word of advice: if you're a trainer, please do not have relations with your client. Fire them first. And
So it's okay to date
I'll
tell you
somebody
this.
else's
Hey.
I'll tell you this. In Perform Better, there is a well-known speaker that I respect very much, and that he had somebody who he was like, yeah, I'll give you a thing, but like I can't like train you or whatever, but then continue to like ask her out, and eventually became his wife, and they started the fitness of business together. So hey, sometimes it might be a positive story.
Okay,
or
so
whatever.
maybe on the other end that I've seen are like trainers that are like stretching their clients inappropriately, or like, spotting them in a squat bar.
Oh,
and it's just like,
inappropriate
dude, you are
spotting
way too close.
is what I wrote down. Inappropriate. I'm telling you.
What is inappropriate?
I'll tell you what it is. All right. So you have somebody, you take him to the squat rack because back squats are good for you, right?
Of course.
Yes.
It's the best exercise for
But
the whole body.
sometimes they don't know how to get to depth. So they need some extrinsic feedback to understand what is the right depth for them. So there was this trainer in Hoboken, the great city of Hoboken, Frank Sinatra, baseball. I won't say what gym this is, but a trainer would go, hey, hands out, bars on the back, right? So there's some weight, there's some load on the bar, but they're like, hey, I want hands in front like here, like Oliver Twist asking, "Please, sir,
Can I have some more?
can I have some more?" And then, like, right low, he's getting down to depth, and is like, "I want you to squat to my hands," and putting his hands right to where her ass cheeks are.
Don't
I'm
be
not
suspicious.
exaggerating.
Don't be suspicious.
My coworkers that's listening right now know exactly what happened, know exactly who it is. And this guy was like, there's predators in every gym. I'm telling you right now, in any personal training
industry.
where they get their pictures out here and they got their certifications. Oh yeah, I'm TRX certified. I got my NASM. Yeah, whatever. I'm also a predator. You should be like,
Also, look me up. Like,
yeah, seriously.
I'm listed in this thing.
Look, one of those picture frames, one of those guys is a predator at your local gym. All right? That's just truth.
Yikes.
So many.
Yes, John.
Do you have any other red flags that you want to point out?
Yes, since we're talking about people and trainers specifically in these gyms, I think one of the biggest red flags that I used to hear on the gym floor from other trainers when I worked at a big box gym was over promising and under
delivering.
There you go. And also undermining the actual work that needs to be put in and the investment that you need from a client. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that you're over promising results that you probably know for a fact that somebody cannot give you, but for the sake of getting the bigger sale on the package or having a long-term client by embedding a seed in their brain that you promise that they can do something or they can achieve something if they train with you 3 to 5 times a week at a monthly rate of XYZ.
Every trainer thinks they're God's gift. Like they're thinking like, oh yeah, no, I got all these certifications. They train with me. Don't train with those other bums. Like, I got the answers for you.
Yep.
You ain't got the answers.
Nada. But I think it's when you, I think the one that's one of the biggest red flags is when you are promising so much. One example would be a client asking, "Oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. How long would this take?" I think majority of the times trainers who are unexperienced with the behavior of people who have not lost 20 pounds before will say, well, it takes an aggressive way to lose weight is 2 pounds per week. And if you have a calorie deficit of XYZ and you have activity level of XYZ, then you will lose that weight without considering all the other factors in life.
I've heard that. I've heard the 2 pounds per week. I've heard the 1 pound per week. I will say these are very, very unrealistic.
Right.
Depends
who you talk to.
You put you put your expectations so high, and I think like people buy in. Like we watched cult documentaries on Netflix, right? So we watched like these pastors. We watched this TikTok documentary on Netflix. I highly recommend it.
Oh, that one's a good one.
It's
a TikTok dance.
Is it with that girl? And then on the preview, it's about this dad pressing.
Yes,
I just want to see my daughter.
Yeah,
Yes.
because the guy that's managing this dance group is like this pastor who's like, yeah, you're gonna reach all this fame and money and whatever, and it's no different than a trainer that's gonna promise you to get, I'll get you there in 20 days, I'll get you there in 2 months or whatever. And honestly, like there's no account for the person's lifestyle, limiting factors. Right. That they've been trying so hard for 5 years. All of a sudden, I'm gonna fix it all in 2 months.
Exactly.
No. You have the same trouble that me and Manny have. Is that the problem? The problem with people is honestly people. I feel like
wow, Manny did not.
Yeah,
say that.
Yeah, we have that.
Yeah. This is like a Braveheart. This is a Braveheart quote. This is like
boy.
The problem with Scotland is that there are too many Scots. No, that it's just sometimes there's a lot of human factors that do get in the way. And realistically, I'll have a conversation with people in in this time, if someone is like, I need a weight loss goal, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, set your expectations to a year. If all things play well, you might reach your goals in a year. And that's the honest truth. If you want lies, the next gym from us, Google search what's around, they will lie to you. I'm going to tell you how it is. So, and then hopefully with that, you know, if we're upfront with them, hopefully they could trust us like that. If not, buy your lies somewhere else. Go find another cult leader.
Some people are not always going to want to hear what you say, especially if you give the truth to them right away. But what I love to say with all these questions of how long is it going to take me to lose the weight? When am I going to see muscle definition? When will I be able to run 2 miles without being gassed or looking a specific way? I always say, let's see. And once that happens, then you can have further conversations about what let's see means.
Or it depends.
It depends. That's another one too. And I think I believe that a lot of people would say that this is a cop-out. It's an easy out for you to not know what exactly may happen. But in reality, I don't think we really do know what might happen. Somebody, when you first meet them, in your first meeting and your assessments, may be super optimistic, saying like, I will do everything you say. And then you give them the script and then they say, actually, I'm willing to do half of what you're asking me. So I think it's always, one, you have to always not overpromise things and always try to over deliver with what you have to say, because one, that sets you up for more success later down the line.
I will just say, as a coach, you just have to give everything that you can to the resources that you're given and what they give you as well.
Right.
And I was like, I did my best. You should leave no stone unturned. I did my best. And if they weren't unable to help themselves, it is what it is.
Right.
You can't tuck them in to sleep. You can't spoon feed them. You can't, you take away that can of high noon. You can't take it away from them.
You can tell them do 15 reps, but they'll give you 10.
Exactly. Some people are like, Josh, I think we're done here.
Yep.
I'm like, what? What do you mean we're done here? You don't decide. You don't go to a surgeon like, Doc, that's enough. That's enough. The scalpel stops right there. You don't do that. But for some reason in our industry, people will tell us what I need to do, where you need to stop. And I'm like, get out of here. Who's the expert here?
But what really happens, the session is done. So I think that is also an issue, because when one of my clients says like, oh, that's it for me for today, I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to say, no, you're not. You need to finish these. So at least for me, this is the difference from my training versus your training is, one, we're all adults. If you say you're done, I'm not going to tuck you into bed. I'm not going to pull your arm and make you do 5 more bicep curls. Ultimately, what they're willing to give you is all they're willing to give you.
Hey, look, it's your hour. Like a therapist would say, I guess our time's up.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think there needs to be a mutual agreement that one, I guess it depends, right? It depends of how invested the trainer is with your health and your fitness. And also depends on how much investment that the client has in their own
Depending
fitness.
on how they respond to it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if they want to give you 20 minutes of hard work and 30 minutes of talking, sorry, that's how the cookie crumbles.
All right. That's your hour.
So I think we can go on and on and on about all these different red flags, but I think this can be a special series and video.
You do part 2. Are we done? Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, because I got a part 2. I got some more things
done.
I want to dig.
Not done.
I want to talk about extracurricular activities outside the gym, partying, drinking, smoking, doing drugs, fornicating.
Whoa.
Hey,
Oh my God.
That only really happens here in New York and New Jersey.
I'd like to talk about coaches and other coaches and the beef that they provide. I think I want to save this for another spot, because there are some experiences I do want to share. Hey, I just want to let you know I did get fired from a corporate gym. So, I'll tell it all in the next episode.
That's why you're gonna come
Stay
back.
tuned for the tea. We're spilling all of it.
All right.
Yeah. Do you have any other things that you want to like? Hey, let's tease some people.
Nah. I'll tease them by not telling them. So you need to click next
Yes.
to watch this next video
In the future,
right here.
Stay tuned.
And subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe here.
Like
Right here.
Comment. It helps the algorithm
Down there.
and we will kill for algorithm. All right. It's like Uber drivers and their review. We will kill you for algorithm.
No, we're not. We
likes.
won't. Disclaimer.
If you dislike this video, we know your information.
Yeah. We will reverse search. We will AI reverse
boy.
search your IP address.
And I think that's where I cut Josh off. See you on the next one.
All right.